I'm going to introduce you to another concept used with calculating the mean. So here I've got 22 scores of a boys, group of boys, arithmetic test. Now I could add all those scores together and divide by 22, and I could use the calculator to speed that process up. However, there is another way that this could be answered, and that is to put the results in a table. So we can see that the lowest score is 8, and then I can see a 16 there. So we know that with the scores, we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16 to worry about. So what we would do is we would tally them and put them into our table. So if I look at the score of 8, I've got 1 there, and that's all I see. So I've got 1. Score of 9, 1, 2, 3, 3 scores of 9. So I put 3 in there. Score of 10, 1, 2, 3, 4 scores of 10. 4 scores of 10. Score of 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 scores of 11. Score of 12, 1, 2, 3. Score of 13, 1, 2. Score of 14, I can see the 1. I can't see any scores of 15. And a score of 16, 1. And worth a check that adds up to 22. You've got all 22 numbers. So what I could do now to work out the mean is I could just simply add together all the individual scores separately. There's only the one 8. However, there were 3 9s, 9, 9 and 9. Well, we know that's 27. There were 4 10s, 10, 10, 10, 10, well that's 40. There were 7 11s, well very quickly, that's 77. Now how am I getting this very quickly? I am multiplying that 7 by that 11. Now this column is known as the fx column because you times in the frequency, f, by, in this case, scores, but that could be marks, but any totals. So therefore that is allocated the letter x because it does vary from word to word, from question to question. So that's, we call that our x column. Anyway, carrying on, we've got 3 12s, so we've got 36, we've got 2 13s, so we've got 26, we've got 1 14, we haven't got any 15s, and we've got 1 16. And then all I have to do now on the calculator is add those scores together, which is far less than the 22 numbers. So we've got 8 added to 27, added to 40, added to 77, added to 36, added to 26, added to 14, added to 16, and that comes to 244. So therefore the mean score would equal that grand total divided by the 22. So we've got 244 divided by 22, and that gives us 11.1 rounded off. Now it might seem that it's long-winded to put it in a table and then work out the mean rather than just add the 22 numbers up. But it is just a first example to show you that we can calculate the mean if it was in a table. So what tends to happen, especially if you've got more than the 22 numbers, if you've got 60 numbers, 70 numbers, that sort of thing, it tends to be put in a table for you. And in order to work out the mean when it's in a table, you must first remember to work out the fx column, the frequency times the corresponding number each time. Then add that column up. If it doesn't tell you in the question, here it did tell me that the class was 22, but if it does not tell you in the question how many there are, adding the frequency column up would tell you how many there are, and then you divide that column by that column. So for example, here we have a table where we are told that the dice have been thrown 50 times. So we know that when we work out the mean, we know we're going to divide by 50. This is a mistake see people make. They don't divide by 50, they divide by 6 because they see 6 numbers along there. But we've got to work out what this total is. So to work out this total, we've got to work out the fx column, just like we did in the last question. So a score of 1 happens 7 times. 7 times 1, 7. A score of 2 happened 8 times. 8 times the 2, we've got 16. And I just carry on along there. So 10 lots of 3, 30. 8 lots of 4, 32. 5 lots of 5, 25. And 12 lots of 6, we've got 72. And if I add that column up, that gives us the grand total, which will go on the top there. So 7 added to 16, added to 30, added to 32, added to 25, added to 72, gives us a grand total of 182. 182 goes there then, and we divide that by 50. And before I press equals, you'll know if your answer is right or looking right, because my answer should be between 1 and 6. Equals, and I get 3.64. And as I said on a previous example, whilst scores on a die, you can only get a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6. Don't be rushed into thinking you can round that off to 3 or 4. You write the decimal down. So here we're looking at a group of students and their spelling scores out of 10. We see that no one scored anything less than 5. Again though, to work out the mean, we need the grand total divided by how many. We're not told in the question how many, but I can easily work that out by adding that column together. So we've got 4 added to 5, added to 8, added to 9, added to 11, added to 3 is 40. So there was 40 students who sat this test. So we know we're dividing by 40. To work out what the mean is, we need to work out the fx column, which now we've done a couple, we know we're just timesing these numbers. So 4 times the 5, we've got 20, we've got 30, we've got 56, we've got 72, we've got 99, and we've got 30. So to work out the grand total, I need to add those scores together. So we have 20 added to 30, added to 56, added to 72, added to 99, added to 30, equals 307. So the mean is 307 divided by 40 equals, and that gives us a decimal of 7.675. So that's the average score for that group of students. So here we're looking at a table at a campsite. We've got 80 campers, so I don't need to add that column up. I can save time because I know that I'm dividing by 80. But once again, because it's in a table, I need to work out the FX column, which with some of these numbers might be easier to do with a calculator. So in the first case, we've got 14. In the second case, we've got 45, 3/15. But then we've got 26 times 4, we've got 104. We've got 18 times 5, we've got 90. We've got 54 there. We've got 35 there. I just add those scores together. So I've got 14, add 45, add 104, add 90, add 54, add 35. And that gives us a grand total of 342. So we'll do 342 divided by 80. So I've got the number on there, divided by 80 equals, and that gives us 4.275. Now, as I've said on a previous one, that number of nights that you stay in a campsite is either 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 nights, etc. So whilst you can't have that decimal, that is the decimal I write down unless I'm told to round that number off.